Thank you for being here this evening. We'd like to call the City of Maricopa City Council regular meeting to order on Tuesday, June 18th, 2019. At this time, we'd like to invite the LeVar Skousen, who is the Maricopa Stake Patriarch for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, to please come forward. He'll give us our invocation, after which we'll be led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilwoman Julia Gussie. So please rise.
Amen.
Veterans, attention. Time salute. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you, Patriarch Skousen. We appreciate it. Thank you, Councilwoman Gussie. And that'll take us to roll call, please.
Councilmember Brown?
Here.
Councilwoman Gussie?
Here.
Councilmember Manfredi?
Here.
Councilmember Smith?
Here.
Councilmember Vitiello?
Here.
Vice Mayor Wade?
Here.
Mayor Price?
Here.
Mr. Mayor, we have a quorum.
Great, thank you very much. That'll take us to item 3, which is nothing on the horizon there. So that'll take us to number 4. So council members, anything you wish to address the public with? Things you've been up to? I think, yes, Councilmember Smith. Or sorry, we'll get to you, I'm sure. Vitiello, apologize.
So I was able to attend yesterday at Copper Sky. If you haven't been there, it's the most beautiful park and aquatic center you've ever seen, and I'm proud to be part of that. I have to say there was a gentleman, his name is Anthony Smith. He's a former ex-Harlem Globetrotter. He played for many, many years with them, traveled around the world for many, many years, and now he's giving back to his community. He lives here in our town. So he has teamed up with the city of Maricopa, and he put on a great camp. It's a 4-day camp. We had about 20 plus kids join up, and it turned out to be absolutely fantastic, boys and girls. And he's going to be doing all sorts of different camps for us. So he's got a care plan, and basically what he does is he works with the kids, not only teaching them basketball, but qualities of life such as communication, respect, education. So what he tries to do is he tries to get the kids together and not only learn the game of basketball, but he teaches them these important qualities of life that you need to have. So the future is to hopefully do a bullying where he is awesome with the kids. So again, I was able to attend this yesterday, and I'm so proud to be his friend because, you know, famous people don't have to come out and do anything for their community, but this is a gentleman who clearly wants to do more for his community, and I wanted to thank him personally. And so I went there yesterday to thank him and look forward to the other camps that he's going to do in the future. So again, it's one of the things that I got to do this week.
Great, thank you very much. Vice Mayor, did you have something?
Yes, sir. Actually, just speaking now, I didn't have the opportunity to attend as I was out of town here over the weekend, but I want to recognize and acknowledge the folks that put on Juneteenth celebration on Saturday. Those of you who don't know about Juneteenth, it was the actual notification that the Emancipation Proclamation had been enforced, and by the time it made it across to the state of Texas, it had been delayed by the virtue of not being in Texas at the time that it was actually acknowledged. And so Juneteenth is celebrated by African Americans as the notification of the proclamation, Emancipation Proclamation. I wasn't able to attend, but I understand it was well attended. This is the second annual Juneteenth celebration that we've had in the city of Maricopa. I'm looking forward to them doing more as we continue on as well. So I just want to acknowledge the organizers and those who put that activity on. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
No?
No, okay, thought I'd look and ask. Anyone else at this time? Okay, I will just briefly say as much. Again, a lot of things going on in the summertime, but it's also a time to reset and refocus and really get a lot of things honed in for what's coming. I always equate the busy season here, at least from my book, from January to the end of May, and then again from August till December. So there's a small window in there where things slow down just a hair. And so with that, I've had the opportunity to attend an ADOT study session, which is always important as we move towards the approval of the 5-year plan, how that affects Maricopa, and always letting them know about the need for fixes on the 347, along with the efforts that we're putting forth, along with Gila River and others on the study that is being completed right now. So that's always a big deal, keeping them apprised of that. Also had the opportunity to attend the Juneteenth celebration and then spent some time with the kids yesterday at the Copa camp. And if you haven't had a chance to see or understand what that is, but that's really Maricopa's first, I think, full-bore attempt at having a true summer camp here for kids. And we've gone through some learning experiences and some ups and downs, and this one is really taking off and being incredibly successful. And there's a lot of offshoots of that, just like you heard Councilman Vitiello talk about. We have a professional globetrotter here giving basketball camps, and so it's really turning into someplace people want to be. I think we have 66 kids that can be in our any given class one day, and it's completely maxed out yesterday. So they're getting to do a lot of fun things and go to a lot of different places. So it's fun to see the summer camp mentality come into Maricopa, and it's only going to get bigger and better as we move along. So that completes the report from the mayor at this time. Oh, there we are. I knew it was there.
Well, I just looked back at the back of the room and I'm like, how did I miss Chief Stahl? This Friday, coming up at 11 o'clock at Copper Sky in Room A, we are having the privilege of having the chief come and talk along with some of his other employees about community safety and a variety of other topics. So we'd love to have you. It's a lunch and learn. You don't have to buy the lunch, but the lunch is $5. It's going to be a great lunch this Friday. But come on out, hear our chief speak, and we can fit probably 50, 60 people into the room, and we expect it to be full. So come out and hear our chief. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Yes, Councilmember Video.
Happy Father's Day, everybody, by the way.
Thank you. Anyone else at this time? Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and move on to number 5, which is the report from the city manager. City Manager Horst.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I have a couple items to share with you tonight. You may recall shortly after I arrived as your city manager, I sent some pictures out of a street called Tarragona. and I demonstrated 50 lateral cracks of between 2 and 4 inches and 1 and 2 inches deep. I don't know if you've had a chance to drive out there lately, but they're gone. They've been repaired. And not only have they been repaired, they've been repaired at a very reasonable cost. And I know our citizens have noted some partial lane closures and some temporary closures throughout multiple parts of the city, but I just wanted to take a moment and applaud our maintenance crews for the work that they're doing and the work they're doing with our subcontractors, because much needed maintenance is being taken care of and repaired, and I think once we get past the brief pain of the repairs, we'll have good roads and eliminate some of the Grand Canyon cracks that we have. So. Secondly, for your information, Global Water has filed an application for an extension of its certificate of convenience and necessity. The corporate limits of the city of Maricopa overlap with or within 5 miles of the proposed extension area. The application, if approved, will provide wastewater and recycled water service to residential and commercial accounts within the proposed extension area, which includes the northwestern part of the current city limits of the city, and more importantly, for the future planning area out in that direction. So I think that's good news for us as we move forward. Lastly, I'm pleased to announce that the La Quinta Inn Hotel property closed a couple of weeks ago. The staff has completed the initial review of all their construction docs, and I think we just got their second submittal to clean up any last minute things, and we're hoping for a August, maybe early September groundbreaking, and thank you, council, for your leadership on that, and for our citizens, it's coming to a city near you. And that's all I have tonight there. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, City Manager. Appreciate it. Okay, this time, that'll take us to item 6, which is the call to public. So I don't have any speaker cards before me. If you'd like to address the council, please come forward and, tell us what's on your mind. Please tell us your name and your address, and then you have about 3 minutes to do so. Please note that the city council can't respond because legally we can only respond to things that are agendized on the council agenda, but we do want to hear what's on your mind, and we have staff over here, and we'll be around after the meeting, so again, we welcome further discussion. So please come forward. Would you press that little button, make sure it's on?
Good evening. I'm Darlene Taylor Wade. I stay at 37078 West Leonessa Avenue, Maricopa 85138. Me and my husband came down here yesterday because he's a truck driver. And I just wanted to know where can the truckers park? Because they put a ticket on his truck because he parked at Walmart.
Gotcha.
And he come in like twice a month. And he stay in overnight and he go back.
Sure.
I just want to know where can they park?
Perfect. So I'll kind of turn it over to the city manager here.
Mrs. Wade, I'm going to give you my card, and then if I can get your phone number, I'll make contact with you, and we'll get together and talk through and figure this out, okay? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. Anyone else at this time like to approach the council?
You just come up.
It's an application. Hidden down.
Okay.
Just tell us
Let's see,
your
my
name.
name is Shelley.
Yep.
And I'm here on behalf of my daughter Katie. I want to see, there's just we moved here like 4 months ago in Maricopa. Where do we start? So far, for the short time that we've been here, I really think y'all could do, could you please, number one, get with the construction people about leaving their debris laying all over the road. We are in Altera. This is what My son-in-law picked up within just a half a block radius, picking these bolts and stuff in the Altera. They just, people, they don't care. I'm sorry, Walmart had to go to within it's right there, Maricopa storage unit at the, there was those flashing things that sit in the, you know, those light things, post. Well, there, right now, as we speak, there's about, I can point out 10 right now that's just laying in oncoming traffic. People, when they're not getting off work, it's like, can it take just really 10 minutes to go pick them up, get them out of the way, out of the roadway, so nobody runs over them? Especially, I had to think, like I told my daughter the other day, what if it's an 80-year-old woman, or it's a lady with a newborn, and doesn't have time? Because people in Maricopa, oh my gosh, they drive like maniacs, bumper to bumper. That's the most idiotic, we moved here from the south, and I've got an excellent, you can look my driving license, run my history. I obey the law when it comes to driving. I stay, you know, I'm old school. I do what the rule tells you. If it's you're 20 miles, if there's 20 miles an hour, that means there's two cars. There's two cars in between you and them. If it's 5, it should be 5 cars. Well, people in Maricopa don't believe in that rule, and so all it takes is for a minute for you to not catch in time where you see this debris and it's laying in the road. I couldn't take it. They're one of those things that's big, it's rubber, it's about that big. It had come off the light post and it was laying in the road. I saw a cop, not once, but another cop, 2 of them, drive right over it like it was nothing and just kept on driving. And it's like, wait a second. You've got flashers. You could stop your car, turn on your flashers, get it out of the road. I drove over it 3 times, straddled it, but what happens to that lady that doesn't have that time and has a newborn in the back and goes over, okay, well, now you've just jostled a little 2-day-old baby. So the debris, that's unreal. That's just ridiculous. And they're just, because they're too busy. So what if it's hot? If it's too hot for you, go move. If you don't like Arizona heat and you can't take it, go move somewhere else. I know for a fact that there's construction, there's all these little gadgets now that those construction workers can go out and buy, and they're wet rags, and they can, I mean, that'll pull you off. But my main thing is, I was going to go to the Altera meeting. I'm sorry, I've got one more thing.
Okay.
Because this happened today. My daughter has 3 kids. I live with her and my son-in-law. She has a 1-year-old, literally, that just turned 1 this weekend. She's got a 2-year-old, and she has a 5-year-old. If anyone has kids, you understand, a 1-year-old is teething. Well, we are up, I help her, we're up throughout the night. Her 3rd child is having a really hard time with the teething. Well, our neighbor decided to put in a pool. So the construction's been going on, and basically I asked the pool guy twice. I said, could you please not do any hard work, loud work, until 7-ish, 8. That's what, from what my son-in-law brought up, Pinal County, 7 o'clock ordinance, a.m. Well, apparently according to the police department in Maricopa, this is no good. Even though Maricopa, the city of Maricopa is in the ordinance, I'm sorry, where does it not, why does it not pertain? This says 7. This says 7 for ordinance.
So let me do this. Let me point you in the direction of both Kazi and Josh, who are behind you. Will you both raise your hands? Kazi and Josh, there you go. And they can help you both on the ordinance side and the debris side, and that will help get that.
And I
cleaned up
just,
and
well,
rolling.
the lady next door just happened to come to our house literally like an hour and a half ago, and basically told us, Altera says it's 5. It's okay. If you don't like it, that's tough. 5 a.m. Well, she's got her kid that she just literally, last week, her kid only got to sleep for about 20 minutes after being up all night, and then they started in with the loud
So
next
what-
door because of the pool.
So what they will do is they'll talk about the city ordinance and how that relates to Pinal County.
So
and
how do I go about changing the ordinance
So-
from 5 a.m. to, because
Ma'am,
this is
start
not.
there.
Ma'am, I'll
So
be
let's
happy to
start
give you
there.
my card and
We'll
work
go
with you
from
on that.
Thank you very much.
If I may, council, we actually have a meeting tomorrow with our builders, and the construction debris is on the agenda because she's correct about some of the construction debris, so that will be addressed with our builders tomorrow, and then we'll go forward from there.
Perfect.
You know what, it's gone, that little square, that big rubber thing is gone because
Thank you very much for your service there. We appreciate it. That'll take us to any further discussion on call to public at this time. Anyone else? Seeing no one, that'll take us on to the meeting minutes. Thank you for your participation this evening. Council, can I have approval of meeting minutes 7.1 and 7.2, please?
So moved.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. That takes us to the evening's consent agenda, which is items 8.1 through 8.5 or 5, sorry. 8.1 through 8.5. Council, was there any concerns or questions on consent at this time? Okay, seeing, yes, Vice Mayor?
Yes, I do.
Yep. So you want to address something?
I just want to address 8.5.
8.5?
And just for some clarification, if we could go ahead and read what that is. And so there's those in the audience that are concerned about where we are
Okay.
with the process.
Community Manager Horst, I know that you had sent out some information on the community development block grants, on how they were going to be spent, and that's what we're talking about tonight. So would you address that, please?
Yes, thank you. As we indicated last week, our last meeting in our public hearing, our expected revenues are $180,000. 80 of that is to be designated for lights in the Maricopa town site. 80,000 of that will be used for home improvement and handicap accessibility repairs, and 20,000 will be used for miscellaneous demolition, blight removal, and those type of things. And that's the, I think at the next meeting, you'll actually adopt the proposed plan that we will then submit to HUD and move forward and look forward to those grants coming forward. I also would remind the audience that the city is spending additional dollars in addition to the CDBG funds for improvements to the road and the park, some fencing and other items that are budgeted through the general fund and other things as approved in the budget, which was adopted 2 weeks ago.
Okay, perfect. Yes.
Thank you,
Vice
Mr. Mayor, I appreciate it. Thank
Okay.
you, City Manager, appreciate it.
Mayor. Any other questions or concern on consent at this time? Seeing none, can I have a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Let's try that first here and a second there this time. All right, motion and second. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And that'll take us to the item on the regular city council meeting agenda for tonight. This is item 9.1. The mayor and city council shall discuss and possibly take action on approving a sponsorship with the Arizona-Mexico Commission. This is for discussion and action. I'll turn the time over to City Manager Horst and Councilwoman Gussie.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. As we indicated, we did some preliminary information and put it together in your packets. We are recommending as staff that we do purchase the $1,500 membership. We have another $1,500 to cover other miscellaneous expenses. We have learned since then that people like Ioana Morphosis has recommended it, GPEG's endorsement of this program. The question was asked what benefit would be derived from it, and to be honest with you, until you participate and get active with it, it's hard to do that. It is a little different function in how they work than GPEG. The governor is the chairman of the program, and he uses his personal economic development staff and interoffice staff to help do some of the functions. They don't have a dedicated staff like a GPEG might. And there are generally 4 events a year of different needs. And I think ultimately there are 12 or 15 committees that I think once we get involved and understand those committees, that we've identified that there are probably 3 that might be pertinent to what we're trying to do. And I would like to highlight what Ioana shared with her memo today that I believe all of you received with Lucid Technologies getting underway in Casa Grande, and with the fact that a lot of automated parts come out of Mexico, and the fact that we can use our smaller Estrella Gin Park to maybe begin to facilitate some of the smaller needs at a larger Lucid Technologies program. I think there may be some opportunities to get involved and to drive jobs our way. So it's my recommendation that you favorably consider it and we reevaluate it next year, as we should all of our memberships.
Perfect. Councilwoman Gussie.
Yes, I've attended actually 2 meetings with the organization. One was in Mexico, where we met with elected officials out there, and they actually toured us of a plant. It's a Ford plant where they were manufacturing parts for Escort, the Ford Escort. And it was very interesting to see that most of the parts are being manufactured in Sonora, Mexico, and they're coming to the U.S. to build the vehicles here. Although they're American vehicles, yeah, one could argue about that. But it was very interesting to be in attendance at that meeting in Mexico. And then I went to another meeting earlier this year, or maybe it was last year. It was for the Arizona-Mexico Commission, and elected officials came up from Mexico to attend that conference, and it was a very interesting conference. Unlike the politicians where we're working class individuals, Mexicans, well, not all of them, well, at least the ones that I met there, are very powerful elected officials that have big corporations and big companies. And they came up here to talk about economic development with Arizona, and this interaction was very interesting, and I recommend that as many of you attend. And it was easy for me to listen in on both because I could speak both, but at every meeting that I've been to, the one in Mexico and the one here, they have the earphones where they have translators speaking on behalf of whoever's speaking at the time. So it's very interesting, and I recommend that all of you attend at least one of those meetings to see the benefits that we would get. And like City Manager had mentioned, we're only going to benefit what we put into it. So as much as we could attend and actually interact with their economic development departments, I think that's what we're going to get out of it. But I highly recommend that we become members of the organization.
Thank you very much. Council, questions, concerns? Yes, Councilor Smith.
In reading the materials that were provided to us, if I'm interpreting the membership correctly at the $1,500 rate, it covers 3 specific members, or can they be rotating members? Does anyone know the answer to that?
I think they could be rotating year to year, but not within the year.
Yeah, that's what I would guess too, so they're designated. So after reading all of the materials, I would support this membership, and I would like to be one of those designated members so that I can get involved and see how it can benefit us at the City of Maricopa. Just a request. Thanks.
Anyone else this time? Questions, concerns? No? Vice Mayor?
No questions, concerns. I'm glad that you stayed honest about doing this and providing this information as well. And I too am a supporter, as I indicated previously. I think this is something good for us, for our neighbors, and I'd like to see it be done. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll just echo those thoughts and the fact that, I talked last meeting, I too have attended these meetings, whether they've been at the Arizona League of Cities and Towns Conference or other things with the governor, through the president of the Arizona League of Cities and Towns. I sit on the Arizona Commerce Authority Board now, and so, there's a lot of interaction in a lot of these things that we do. And so what I've really come to realize is that, this game is about odds. And so, if you walk into a casino and the casino has its favor in the house, it's because the odds are in its favor. And it's the same principle with economic development. The more circles you run in, the more opportunities you have, the more, abilities that you find to interact with, these folks. And just like Councilwoman Gussie said, whether it's on their side that, they're president, CEOs of companies or corporations, or whether it's, here on this side where, these folks that sit on these, on the Arizona Mexico Commission, they too are very influential folks in the Phoenix metro area and in the state of Arizona. And so I think anytime you can bring all those pieces together, then your odds of landing and bringing to town what you'd like to see here go up. And so I would completely echo the fact that, this is about what we put into it. Any of our memberships are. And so I think putting as much as we can into it is an important thing. And, how we look at those memberships over the next year and over the coming, weeks and months is important. But I too would echo the fact that I think there's value in doing something like this as long as we participate in it. And we participate wholeheartedly, just like any of the other memberships that we pertain to. Because you're only going to get something out of it when you put a lot into it. So, any other comments or concerns? Questions? Yes, Councilman Video.
So Rick, based on the fact that you have 3 members, are we going to vote on that? How are we going to determine who the 3 members are? How would you suggest we do that? 'Cause
If I may make a recommendation, I know we have 2 council members who've expressed interest. I would ask that you maybe consider the third one being a staff member.
Yeah. So we can decide that, I think. I don't know that we have to do that here tonight. I mean, we can talk about it. Clearly, we have, some interested parties and go from there, but I think that recommendation holds strong, and we'll go from there. So, okay. With that, can I have a motion, please?
So moved?
Have a motion to approve and a second. Any further discussion on this item? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. And that concludes our agenda for this evening. So thank you very much for being here. We appreciate it, and we will reconvene in a couple of weeks. So with that, may I have a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
Motion, and is there a second?
Fair?
Oh, yes.
You just might remind the audience that we will not be in session in 2 weeks.
Oh, we're canceling the one near the 4th of July? Okay, my apologies.
Yeah.
So we will not be here. We'll see you in a month. So don't come in 2 weeks. Have a happy 4th of July. Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thanks.